Welcome back to our channel, where we dive deep into life's most challenging and rewarding experiences. Today, we're tackling a topic that, frankly, most people shy away from: what it truly means to grow old. Have you ever wondered about the ups and downs of aging, the truths no one talks about? Growing older is not just about physical changes, it's an emotional journey that often comes with unexpected struggles, loneliness, declining health, and the quiet fear of being forgotten. But within all these challenges, there's also wisdom, resilience, and lessons that can guide us toward a fulfilling life, no matter our age. If you're interested in learning more about these truths, or if you care for elderly parents or want to prepare for your future, stay with us until the end. I promise you that by the time this video concludes, you'll gain a new perspective on the true value of family, emotional well-being, and finding peace in every stage of life. And hey, if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and if you find this video meaningful, give it a like. It helps us continue creating content that brings value to you. Now, let's begin. Part 1: Loneliness in Old Age. As we advance in years, the yearning for companionship, support, and understanding becomes more than just a passing wish. It becomes the bedrock of our happiness and well-being. With age comes a gradual slowing down, a weakening of the physical body that is unavoidable. Simple tasks become challenging, and health concerns that once seemed distant suddenly become pressing realities. But perhaps the most haunting aspect of aging isn't the physical changes, it's the hollow quiet that seems to settle in. A silence that fills spaces once alive with laughter, conversation, and the energy of life. Many elderly individuals, after years of dedicating themselves to careers, raising children, and contributing to their communities, find themselves facing a new, unsettling chapter, one where their sense of purpose feels eroded. Retirement, often anticipated as a time of peace and enjoyment, can come with an unexpected heaviness. Without the daily routine of work, the structure that gave meaning to their days, many feel adrift, lost in a sea of endless time with no clear direction. The days seem longer, the hours stretch endlessly, and the warmth of family, which should be a comfort, often feels like a distant memory, leaving them with an overwhelming sense of abandonment and isolation. For many elderly individuals, happiness in old age is often imagined as time spent surrounded by the love and companionship of children and grandchildren, of family gatherings filled with laughter and shared memories. But for a growing number of older adults, this idyllic vision is heartbreakingly out of reach. In today's world, families are often scattered across states, countries, and even continents. Children and grandchildren, in pursuit of education, careers, and personal goals, move away from the family home, leaving elderly parents behind in houses that gradually fall silent. This shift reflects not just a personal choice but a larger cultural transformation, where individual aspirations are often prioritized over traditional family bonds. And for those left behind, this change can feel as if a once close family network has become an unbridgeable chasm. Elderly parents who once provided the foundation of their family now find themselves alone, waiting in quiet rooms and empty kitchens, longing for even a single word from their loved ones. For those whose health has started to wane, the sadness of not having loved ones nearby to help with the simple daily aspects of life, to sit with them at dinner, share in a conversation, or even hold their hand when they're in pain, can feel like a silent heartbreak that echoes through every day and night. And for those who have no close family at all, the prospect of facing the twilight years alone, with no one to lean on, is a heavy burden that few can bear. When elderly parents fall into the grips of loneliness, when they realize they have no one they can turn to for comfort, care, or even a kind word, the weight of that realization is staggering. For those who devoted years to raising their children, providing love, guidance, and everything they could to ensure a better future for them, the lack of reciprocal care can feel not just disappointing but profoundly unjust. It's a feeling of betrayal that goes beyond words. Loneliness in these years is more than just a lack of companionship, it's an emotional wound, a piercing reminder that despite all they've given, they are now facing the end of their lives without the love and respect they once believed was theirs. Each day can feel like a mountain to climb, not because of physical weakness alone, but because of the emptiness that surrounds them. Even when they still have relatives, the lack of closeness and emotional connection can be as painful as if they were truly alone. The elderly, who once held respected positions within their families, now feel as if they have become invisible, like shadows passing unnoticed in a bustling world that no longer has time for them. It is as though time has moved on, leaving them stranded, caught in a quiet that only deepens their sense of isolation. But this loneliness isn't just emotional, it is deeply, profoundly damaging to their health and well-being. The emotional strain of feeling abandoned can take a physical toll, manifesting in depression, anxiety, and a lack of motivation to care for themselves. When neglected, the elderly not only suffer from a lack of physical care but also from an emotional erosion that strips them of their will to live. This situation is often compounded by indifferent or irresponsible attitudes from the very children they once cherished. As they grow older and frailer, the elderly need consistent support for even the simplest tasks: a warm meal prepared with love, a hand to steady them, a friendly voice to assure them they are not alone. The absence of this care can feel like an open wound, one that only deepens with each passing day. In these later years, more than ever, everyone needs stability, a loving place to return to, and the assurance that they are valued. Without this, they not only lose their sense of safety but also their joy, their hope, and at times, their will to carry on. To care for the elderly is not simply a duty, it's a profound expression of love, an acknowledgement of everything they have done, of the lives they've shaped, the sacrifices they've made for children and grandchildren. Understanding this goes beyond fulfilling obligations. It's about providing genuine warmth and empathy, ensuring that parents and grandparents feel seen, valued, and cherished. Offering a kind word, a shared moment, or a reassuring smile tells them that they are not forgotten and that they remain an integral part of the family fabric. This warmth and respect give them peace, the deep reassurance that their lives have meaning, even now. The elderly do not ask for much, just the simple things: to feel loved, to know that they are not alone, and to believe that their lives continue to matter. Ultimately, isn't this what we all want as we age? To be surrounded by love, to know that our lives have touched others, to feel that even as our bodies weaken, our presence in the lives of those we cherish remains as strong as ever. For the elderly, the love and care of family are more than just comforts, they are gifts of hope, sources of strength that can brighten even the darkest days. And for children and grandchildren, to offer this gift is to give back a fraction of what they once received, to honor the lives that shaped their own, and to remember that in giving love, we receive far more in return. Part 2: Being Bedridden. Growing old brings many challenges, but perhaps one of the most difficult to face is the possibility of becoming bedridden. For many, losing the independence that defines who they are is a deeply unsettling fear. To be confined to one's bed, unable to do even the smallest things for oneself, is a devastating prospect. It's not just about physical limitations, it's a loss that touches every part of the soul. As we age, our bodies naturally become more fragile, and our immune systems weaken. Those small aches and pains from our younger years transform into chronic conditions that define our days. While modern medicine has made incredible advances, the heart-wrenching truth remains that not all ailments have a cure, and certain diseases grip us for the rest of our lives. Once an illness becomes chronic, a person's remaining time often revolves around treatments and dependency on others, a fate that can feel like imprisonment. This kind of dependency isn't merely physical, it's a mental and emotional strain that weighs heavily on the spirit. When someone becomes bedridden, they are painfully aware that their life is now interwoven with the lives of their caregivers. The smallest tasks, getting out of bed, bathing, or even using the restroom, become monumental efforts that are no longer in their control. That lack of control is a daily reminder of their helplessness, of a once independent life that now feels like a distant memory. The feeling of being unable to move freely is perhaps one of the most heartbreaking aspects of aging, a cruel irony in a life that once celebrated freedom and autonomy. For the family, the challenge of caring for a bedridden loved one is more than a responsibility, it becomes an all-encompassing lifestyle. Each family member, in some way, is touched by the illness. They find themselves juggling their own lives with the needs of their beloved elderly relative, who now depends on them for everything. The weight of this responsibility brings with it quiet exhaustion, both physical and emotional, as if the house itself has taken on a shadow of sorrow. It's a subtle shift, but one that changes the family's dynamic and often introduces feelings of worry, stress, and unspoken tension. The once lively household may now seem subdued, a heavy atmosphere hanging in the air, a sense of shared sadness and concern that lingers with every whispered conversation and quiet sigh. It's a reality where everyone feels the strain, and yet they all try to hide it from one another, each member protecting the others from additional emotional weight. Meanwhile, for the elderly individual confined to their bed, this awareness is crushing. They can feel their impact on the family, and despite their appreciation for the love and care they receive, they're painfully aware that their needs have reshaped the lives of those around them. This awareness often leads to an agonizing mix of guilt, shame, and a sense of loss that words cannot fully capture. They mourn not only for the life they once had but for the burden they fear they have become to the people they love most. In private moments, they may lie awake at night, staring at the ceiling, reflecting on memories of strength and independence that now feel like flickering shadows. They remember a time when they were the ones providing support, helping their children, and guiding the younger generation. Now, they feel as though the roles have reversed in the most difficult and humbling way imaginable. What's perhaps most heartbreaking is the silent acceptance that often accompanies this stage of life. Many elderly individuals, especially those facing prolonged illness, learn to swallow their emotions, choosing not to voice their sadness or frustrations to avoid adding further weight to their family's burdens. They smile when someone enters the room, thank their caregivers with quiet gratitude, and suppress the ache in their hearts. They might wish to share their fears or express the pain they feel, but a quiet voice inside holds them back, telling them it's better to keep these feelings hidden. This quiet endurance, while noble, often isolates them emotionally, creating a painful loneliness even amidst loving care. They yearn for moments of independence, however fleeting, where they can make a decision, perform a task on their own, or simply feel a sense of control over their own life once again. The caregivers, too, find themselves on an emotional roller coaster. They often struggle with feelings of compassion, frustration, fatigue, and helplessness. Providing care for a loved one who is bedridden demands an endless well of patience and empathy, but it also comes with a profound sense of loss. They see the person they love in a diminished state, remembering the vitality that once defined them, and that contrast can be heartbreaking. The caregivers, often family members, must grapple with the emotional toll this takes on them, sometimes feeling guilty for their moments of frustration, yet also carrying the silent hope that they can provide some comfort and dignity for their loved one. Their days are marked by a careful balance of managing their own lives and stepping in to provide constant care, and this can create an emotional burden that lingers in the background, unspoken, but deeply felt. In these situations, true care goes far beyond meeting physical needs. It requires empathy, a sensitivity to the emotions, and a dedication to preserving the dignity of the elderly individual. Every small act of kindness, every gentle touch, every word of encouragement can be a lift for someone who feels trapped in their own body. Caregivers must recognize that even though their loved one's health may be failing, their desire to feel valued, loved, and independent remains as strong as ever. Compassionate care means more than providing medication and assistance. It involves truly listening, offering moments of independence where possible, and understanding the importance of dignity and respect. In the end, caring for an elderly loved one who is bedridden is one of the greatest acts of love and devotion a person can offer. It's a journey filled with both moments of heartache and precious memories, where every interaction, however small, becomes a testament to the depth of family bonds. And for the elderly, though their bodies may no longer allow them the freedom they once had, they find solace in the warmth and understanding of those around them. Their lives, even in the quiet stillness of dependency, hold value and meaning, a legacy of love that endures through the care and compassion of family. The transition from independence to dependency is never easy, but it's also a time for reflection, for acknowledging the strength it takes to accept help and the courage it takes to be vulnerable. It's a time to recognize the beauty in the love that surrounds them, a love that is willing to sacrifice, to endure, and to cherish. This love is what gives life its meaning, even in moments of great difficulty. Ultimately, being bedridden doesn't strip someone of their worth. The value of a person's life isn't defined by their ability to move freely or care for themselves. It's defined by the love they have given, the connections they have made, and the memories they have created with those around them. The strength of the human spirit lies in its ability to adapt, to find hope in the darkest of times, and to cherish the love that remains, even when everything else seems to fade away. For families, the care they give to a bedridden loved one is not just about obligation, it's about gratitude, respect, and love. It's about giving back to someone who once gave them everything, and about finding meaning in the quiet moments spent together. Whether it's holding a hand, sharing a smile, or simply sitting in silence, these moments are profound expressions of what it means to be human. And for the elderly, each day is a reminder that even though their bodies may be weak, their spirit remains strong. They are still here, still loved, and still a vital part of the family fabric. The journey may be difficult, but it's also filled with moments of connection, of warmth, and of deep, enduring love. Part 3. Mental and Cognitive Decline. Mental and cognitive decline is an unsettling reality that many elderly individuals must eventually face, a shadow that looms large over the golden years, often without warning. For some, the gradual weakening of memory and cognition is a painful yet gentle transition. They may occasionally forget a name or misplace an item, small moments that are easily brushed off. But for others, these early signs signal the beginning of a difficult and often heartbreaking journey into dementia, Alzheimer's, or other severe cognitive disorders. This shift is not only a medical condition but a profound emotional experience. As mental faculties begin to fade, it's not just memory that is affected, it's the very sense of self, the core of one's identity, that seems to slip away. The impact of cognitive decline on daily life is staggering. At first, it's often subtle, forgetting small details, losing track of time, or feeling disoriented in familiar spaces. But as the decline progresses, it seeps into all aspects of life, from the inability to carry out basic daily tasks to a complete loss of independence. Imagine the frustration of trying to recall the name of a lifelong friend or struggling to remember the face of a beloved grandchild. For those experiencing these changes, every day can bring a fresh reminder of what is slowly being lost. These aren't just forgotten memories, they are pieces of a person's history and identity, as if chapters of a deeply personal story are being torn away one by one, leaving only faint, painful traces behind. For the elderly, this cognitive loss can feel like being trapped in a fog that thickens over time. They may feel alienated from their surroundings, unable to connect with their loved ones in the same way, and unable to rely on themselves as they once did. The helplessness that comes with losing control over one's thoughts and memories can create a deep and lasting sorrow, a quiet despair that permeates even the most joyful moments. For the families of these individuals, watching someone they love fade into confusion and unawareness is profoundly painful. Every time their loved one forgets a familiar face or moment, it's as if they lose a small part of that person, making the grief feel endless and ongoing. Beyond the emotional toll, cognitive decline has a ripple effect on physical health. With reduced cognitive ability, the elderly often struggle to perform even the most basic self-care tasks. Simple things like brushing teeth, remembering to take medication, or preparing a meal can become monumental challenges. This reliance on others can be devastating for someone who once prided themselves on their independence. As the need for assistance grows, many elderly individuals feel as if they become burdens to their families, triggering feelings of guilt and unworthiness. The sadness of feeling like an inconvenience can weigh heavily on their hearts, making them retreat even further inward, away from those who love them most. As they withdraw, the isolation and loneliness deepen, creating an invisible yet impenetrable barrier between them and the world around them. The challenges of cognitive decline are not limited to the individual experiencing them but are shared by family members, friends, and caregivers. With every moment of forgetfulness, every look of confusion, loved ones are reminded of the inevitability of decline. They grieve for the person who once was energetic, self-reliant, and vibrant, now shadowed by a fog of confusion. Families find themselves in the dual role of caregivers and mourners, doing their best to comfort their loved ones while quietly grieving the person they are losing. For some, this transition is like watching a light dim slowly over time, flickering and fading until only a soft, distant glow remains. As cognitive decline advances, it brings with it a profound loss of social connection. The elderly may struggle to communicate as words become harder to find and conversations become strained. Relationships that were once close and comforting may feel distant, even alien. The inability to express themselves, to share in memories and conversations, leaves them feeling isolated, and this emotional distance compounds their sense of loneliness. Depression and anxiety can creep in, forming a dark cloud that envelopes them as they grapple with feelings of abandonment and sorrow. The familiar comforts of companionship and family become bittersweet, and the heartache of disconnection and loss becomes all too real. In the face of this daunting journey, true support must go beyond medical treatment and medication. While medical interventions can manage symptoms and slow progression, they cannot fill the emotional void or restore the lost sense of self. The elderly need more than just care, they need love, understanding, and companionship that can remind them of who they are and what they mean to those around them. Families and communities play an invaluable role here. Sometimes, the most profound comfort can come from sitting together and looking through old photos, sharing a memory, or just being present. It's about creating moments that remind them of the beautiful life they've led and the legacy they carry. Small gestures, holding their hand, listening to stories they may not remember telling, or simply sitting in silence, can be deeply healing. These shared moments of love and attention offer a sense of continuity, a reassurance that they are still valued and cherished. This compassionate presence can transform what could be a time of loneliness into a chapter filled with warmth, dignity, and meaning. By combining necessary medical measures with emotional and spiritual support, families and caregivers can provide a truly holistic approach to care. They can help maintain not just the physical well-being of their loved ones, but also the beauty of their spirit and the richness of their memories, creating a lasting sense of love and fulfillment even in the face of cognitive decline. It's crucial for caregivers and family members to remember that even if a loved one's memory fades, their emotions remain real and impactful. They may not remember a specific moment, but they will remember how it made them feel. The warmth of a hug, the kindness in a familiar voice, or the comfort of a gentle touch, these emotions are enduring and provide a sense of safety and connection, even when the details are lost. In a world that may seem increasingly confusing and uncertain to them, these small moments of compassion are beacons of comfort. The decline of mental and cognitive abilities doesn't strip someone of their humanity or their worth. The value of their life isn't dependent on their memory or their ability to articulate their thoughts. It lies in the relationships they've built, the love they've shared, and the moments they've lived. Their stories, though they may fade, are interwoven into the lives of their family and community, and that is a legacy that will never be lost. Caring for someone with cognitive decline is not without its challenges. It requires patience, resilience, and a deep well of empathy. There will be moments of frustration, of exhaustion, and of profound sadness. But there will also be moments of connection, moments that remind us of why we love, why we care, and why we endure. It's about finding meaning in the care we give and recognizing the beauty and the strength of the human spirit, even when faced with the challenges of decline. For the elderly facing cognitive decline, there is a strength that lies in acceptance, in letting go of what once was, and embracing what is. There's a quiet courage in waking up each day and facing a world that may not always make sense, and entrusting those around them to guide them through it. This strength is often unspoken, but it is profound and deeply inspiring. As we continue to explore the realities of aging, let's not forget the importance of creating environments that foster connection, dignity, and love for our elderly. Whether it's in our own homes, in care facilities, or in our communities, we all have a role to play in supporting those who are facing cognitive decline. We must remember that the essence of who they are, their humor, their kindness, their love, remains, even if the details begin to fade. If you're finding these lessons meaningful, please take a moment to like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to our channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our upcoming discussions on aging and the valuable lessons we can all learn from those who have lived full, rich lives. Your support means the world to us, and it helps us continue to bring these important conversations to light. Part 4: Overwork and Mental Fatigue in Old Age. As we age, life should become a celebration of everything we've achieved, a time to savor the gentle beauty that often eludes us in our younger years. It's a period meant for slowing down, for basking in the warmth and appreciation of family, and for finding joy in simplicity. Old age should be a well-deserved reward for all the hard work, sacrifices, and dedication we've poured into building our lives and supporting those we love. Yet, tragically, for so many elderly individuals, these years are overshadowed by lingering responsibilities, burdens, and anxieties. Instead of being a chapter of rest and renewal, it becomes yet another time of stress and weariness. How is it fair that those who have given so much still carry such a weight on their shoulders? Many elderly individuals find it nearly impossible to stop worrying. The habit of constant concern becomes like an unbreakable chain, holding them back from fully enjoying life. They're forever analyzing their children's choices, wondering if they're on the right career paths, if their relationships are healthy, or if they're making wise financial decisions. These worries become all-consuming, and though their intentions are loving, this vigilance can wear down the spirit, leaving them mentally and emotionally exhausted. Others, meanwhile, find themselves unable to let go of family matters. Whether it's disputes among relatives or the persistent struggle to resolve long-standing family dynamics, these issues create a mental fog, making it difficult to focus on the present or appreciate the beauty around them. Life itself can feel like a never-ending series of obligations, each one pressing down heavier than the last. Yet, just as machines need regular maintenance to function, human beings need rest, a moment to breathe and restore themselves. Those who have spent decades working tirelessly often reach old age with little left in the tank, both physically and mentally. It's disheartening to see, but many elderly people have become so accustomed to placing everyone else's needs before their own that they've forgotten how to care for themselves. This endless cycle of duty robs them of the peace they rightfully deserve, leaving them weary and struggling to hold on to any sense of fulfillment. The truth is, there's nothing selfish about setting aside time to rest, reflect, and nurture one's well-being. It's essential. A balanced life isn't solely about meeting responsibilities and fulfilling duties to others, it's also about finding joy and peace within oneself. Yet many older individuals struggle to embrace this concept. For some, the idea of rest is foreign. They've lived their lives under the notion that hard work is simply their lot in life, an unchangeable reality. For others, it's a deep-rooted sense of guilt or responsibility that keeps them pushing forward, long past the point of exhaustion. Especially when it comes to helping their children and grandchildren, they set aside their personal needs to provide child care or help manage family affairs, feeling obligated to carry these roles even as their own health and energy wane. But this never-ending cycle only leads to mental fatigue, erasing any sense of peace and leaving them longing for relief. There comes a time when one must recognize that life isn't solely about serving others. Old age, like the end of a long and winding journey, is an opportunity to release these heavy burdens, to let go of the constant need to do, and to simply be. Life is like the changing of the seasons, each one carrying its beauty and purpose. After the industrious energy of spring, the thriving growth of summer, and the fruitful harvest of autumn, winter arrives, a season of rest, reflection, and quiet appreciation. It is a time to cherish memories, to watch them pass through our minds like the frames of an old movie, each scene holding a cherished moment of joy, sorrow, triumph, or lesson learned. These final years should not be clouded by fear or filled with regret. The inevitability of death is not something to dread, but rather a part of the human experience to accept with grace. By acknowledging this, we can fully embrace each day with hearts unburdened and minds at peace. And while it's true that family and loved ones bring immense comfort, the most important source of peace lies within. When an elderly person finds this inner calm, life ceases to be a series of days filled with worry and obligation. Instead, it transforms into a precious chapter rich with meaning and purpose, a season of life that deserves to be lived fully and freely. Ultimately, old age doesn't demand perfection. It doesn't require grand accomplishments or the endless fulfillment of responsibilities. It simply calls for a peaceful, contented existence, where the soul can rest easy knowing it has lived true to its values and desires. A life without regrets, a life where one can face the end with a gentle smile and a sense of inner fulfillment, this is the ultimate reward. So, in these later years, it's essential to allow oneself to live with ease, free from the chains of unending duty, to embrace each moment with gratitude and to savor the quiet beauty of a life well lived. We all must learn to take a step back, to breathe, and to let go of the things we cannot control. This is the true art of living in old age, to find serenity not in the absence of challenges, but in the acceptance of them. It's also about finding purpose in small, everyday moments, sitting by a window and watching the sun set behind the hills, feeling the warmth of a loved one's hand in yours, or listening to the laughter of children playing. It's about allowing yourself to let go of the worries and anxieties that have weighed you down for so long and to appreciate the world as it is, in all its imperfections. Overwork and mental fatigue don't just affect the body, they take a toll on the mind and spirit as well. In the rush to fulfill obligations, we often forget the importance of simply being present. When elderly individuals allow themselves to step away from the never-ending cycle of duty, they give themselves permission to rest, to heal, and to reconnect with the simple joys of life. This shift in perspective can be life-changing. It's about learning to prioritize well-being over constant productivity, understanding that our worth isn't measured by how much we do, but by the love we share and the peace we find within ourselves. It's about learning to say no, to set boundaries, and to recognize that self-care is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Family members, too, must recognize this. They must understand that their elderly loved ones have earned the right to rest and deserve to live out their final years in comfort and peace. The elderly have already given so much, they've supported their families, worked tirelessly, and sacrificed for the sake of others. Now, it's time for them to receive, to be cared for, to be cherished, and to be allowed the space to simply exist without demands or expectations. This doesn't mean that the elderly have no role to play or that they shouldn't be involved in their families' lives. On the contrary, their wisdom and experience are invaluable, and their presence is a source of strength and stability. But it's important that their contributions come from a place of joy and willingness, not from a sense of obligation or pressure. For the elderly, letting go of overwork and embracing rest can be a powerful act of self-love. It's an acknowledgement of their own worth, independent of what they can do for others. It's about recognizing that they are deserving of care, of kindness, and of the time to simply enjoy the world around them. So, if you're watching this video and find yourself resonating with these lessons, take a moment to reflect. Whether you're caring for an elderly loved one or preparing for your own future, remember that rest is not a reward, it's a right. And it's a right that we all must honor, for ourselves and for those we love. If you're finding these discussions meaningful, please consider subscribing to our channel, liking this video, and sharing it with others who might benefit from these insights. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Your support helps us continue to bring these important conversations to light and to honor the wisdom of those who have lived long, full lives. Part 5: Financial Struggles and the Fear of Running Out. One of the most overlooked challenges that many elderly individuals face is the fear of running out of money. For those who have worked tirelessly their entire lives, the prospect of financial insecurity in old age can be deeply unsettling. Many dream of a retirement filled with relaxation, hobbies, and time spent with loved ones, but financial worries can cast a long shadow over these dreams, creating a constant undercurrent of anxiety. The truth is, aging comes with its own set of expenses: medical bills, medications, home modifications, or the cost of in-home care. Even with savings, pensions, or social security benefits, these expenses can quickly add up, and for many, they are far more substantial than they ever imagined. The reality of managing a fixed income while prices for basic necessities continue to rise often forces difficult choices. For some, it means cutting back on essentials, delaying medical care, or giving up the small joys that once brought comfort. The emotional toll of financial struggles in old age goes far beyond just the practicalities of budgeting. It's the stress of constantly wondering if there will be enough for tomorrow, enough to pay for groceries, enough to cover medical expenses, enough to keep the lights on. This type of worry weighs heavily on the mind, affecting well-being and making it nearly impossible to find peace. The dream of a worry-free retirement begins to crumble, replaced by a gnawing fear that the years of work and sacrifice might not be enough to provide security in the twilight years. Many elderly individuals find themselves grappling with feelings of shame and embarrassment regarding their financial situation. They may be reluctant to ask for help, not wanting to burden their families or admit that they are struggling. There is a sense of pride that comes from having provided for oneself and one's family for decades, and the idea of now needing help, especially financial help, can be difficult to accept. This reluctance to reach out can lead to isolation, as they quietly bear their struggles alone, not wanting to worry their children or admit that they're not managing as well as they seem to be. In some cases, elderly individuals turn to part-time work to supplement their income, but finding employment in old age presents its own set of challenges. Age discrimination, physical limitations, and the changing nature of work make it difficult for many to find jobs that are suitable for their abilities and needs. Even for those who are able to secure employment, the work itself can be physically and mentally exhausting, draining the energy that should be spent enjoying time with loved ones or pursuing personal interests. The fear of running out of money doesn't just impact day-to-day decisions, it affects long-term choices as well. Many elderly individuals hesitate to spend on things that would improve their quality of life, worried that they need to save every penny for the unknowns that lie ahead. They put off home repairs, skip social outings, or avoid medical treatments, all in the name of preserving their limited resources. This constant sacrifice can erode their sense of dignity and self-worth, making them feel as if they're living in a state of perpetual scarcity. Financial insecurity also creates a sense of dependence that can be deeply unsettling. Those who were once the providers, the ones who worked hard to ensure their children had everything they needed, now find themselves reliant on others for financial support. This role reversal can be emotionally challenging, creating feelings of guilt and a sense of loss of control. They may worry about being a burden to their family, about the impact their needs might have on their children's financial stability, and about the potential resentment that could arise from needing ongoing assistance. This fear of financial dependence is exacerbated by the unpredictability of medical needs in old age. A sudden illness or an unexpected hospital stay can quickly drain savings and plunge individuals into debt. The uncertainty of what might happen next, coupled with the knowledge that resources are limited, can create a sense of helplessness. Even those who have carefully planned for their retirement can find themselves overwhelmed by the high costs of healthcare, leaving them to wonder if they will ever feel truly secure. There's also the emotional burden that comes with comparing oneself to others. Many elderly individuals watch their peers enjoy seemingly comfortable retirements, traveling, participating in hobbies, or spending time with their families without financial worry. This comparison can lead to feelings of inadequacy and regret. They may wonder if they should have done things differently, saved more, worked longer, invested better. These thoughts can lead to a cycle of regret that only adds to their anxiety and diminishes their sense of fulfillment. The lack of financial stability also has a profound impact on mental health. Chronic stress about money can lead to depression, anxiety, and a feeling of hopelessness. When every day is marked by worry, it's difficult to find joy in the little things, to engage in social activities, or to maintain a positive outlook. Financial stress isolates individuals, making it hard to stay connected to others, and can even lead to a sense of worthlessness, as if their life has been reduced to a constant struggle to make ends meet. Addressing these challenges requires more than just practical solutions, it requires a shift in how we view and support the elderly in our society. Financial insecurity in old age isn't just a personal failure, it's a societal one. We need to create systems that protect and provide for those who have given so much throughout their lives. It's about ensuring that the elderly can live their final years with dignity and without the constant fear of running out of resources. One of the most important steps we can take is to have open and honest conversations about money. Families need to talk about financial planning, not just for the younger generations, but for the elderly as well. It's about removing the stigma associated with financial struggles and creating an environment where asking for help isn't seen as a failure, but as a practical and necessary step. Children and grandchildren can play a crucial role by encouraging these conversations, helping to make plans, and ensuring that their loved ones know they are not alone in facing these challenges. Community programs and support networks also play a vital role in addressing financial insecurity among the elderly. From local food banks to financial counseling services, these resources can provide a lifeline for those who are struggling. Access to affordable healthcare, subsidized housing, and social services designed specifically for the elderly can make a significant difference in their quality of life. It's about creating a safety net that allows individuals to age with grace, without the constant fear of losing everything they've worked so hard to build. We must also recognize the emotional aspects of financial insecurity. It's not just about the dollars and cents, it's about the loss of independence, the fear of becoming a burden, and the struggle to maintain dignity in the face of hardship. Providing emotional support is just as important as providing financial help. It's about being there for our elderly loved ones, listening to their concerns, and reassuring them that they are valued, regardless of their financial situation. For the elderly, finding peace in the face of financial uncertainty often means letting go of the things they cannot control and focusing on what they can. It's about finding joy in the small moments, the warmth of a grandchild's hug, the beauty of a sunset, the comfort of a familiar routine. It's about recognizing that their worth is not determined by their bank account, but by the love they've given, the lives they've touched, and the strength they've shown throughout their journey. If you're still with us, thank you for taking the time to explore these important topics with us. Financial insecurity is a reality that many elderly individuals face, but it's a reality we can address together, through compassion, understanding, and action. If you found this video meaningful, please take a moment to like, share, and comment below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss our upcoming discussions on the challenges of aging and the lessons we can all learn from those who have lived long and full lives. Your support helps us continue to bring these conversations to light, and we are grateful for every one of you who joins us on this journey. Part 6: Finding Meaning and Purpose in Old Age. As we conclude this discussion on the realities of aging, it's essential to talk about one of the most significant aspects of growing older: finding meaning and purpose in life, even in the later years. The search for purpose is something that we all experience, regardless of age, but it can take on a unique significance as we grow older. For many elderly individuals, the question becomes, what gives life meaning when so many of the roles they once held are no longer there? How do they find fulfillment when they are no longer defined by their careers, by raising children, or by the bustling activity of earlier life stages? The transition into old age can feel like an identity shift. After decades of work, of caring for others, and of being an active part of their communities, many elderly individuals find themselves with a lot of time on their hands, time that can feel empty if not filled with purpose. The roles that once defined them, employee, parent, caregiver, may no longer be as central, and the absence of those roles can lead to a sense of loss. This feeling of purposelessness can be incredibly disorienting, leading to feelings of depression, loneliness, and a deep questioning of one's value and place in the world. However, the truth is that finding purpose in old age is not only possible, it's also incredibly rewarding. It's about recognizing that even though the roles have changed, there is still so much that can be offered and experienced. Meaning and purpose can take many forms, whether it's giving back to the community, connecting with loved ones, sharing wisdom and life lessons, or simply embracing the beauty of each day. The journey to finding purpose is deeply personal, but it's a journey that can lead to profound fulfillment. One of the most powerful ways for elderly individuals to find purpose is through connection with others. Relationships are at the heart of what makes life meaningful, and even in old age, there is immense value in nurturing these connections. Whether it's spending time with grandchildren, sharing stories with friends, or even mentoring younger people in the community, these relationships provide a sense of belonging and remind the elderly that they are still an important part of the social fabric. The love and laughter that come from spending time with family and friends can be a source of great joy and can help combat the loneliness that often accompanies old age. Another significant source of purpose can be found in giving back to the community. Many elderly individuals have a wealth of experience and knowledge that can be incredibly valuable to others. Volunteering at a local charity, participating in community events, or simply offering support to those in need can create a deep sense of fulfillment. It's about shifting the focus from what has been lost to what can still be given. The act of helping others, of being part of something larger than oneself, can bring immense satisfaction and remind the elderly that their contributions still matter. Engaging in hobbies and creative pursuits is another way to find meaning in old age. Whether it's painting, gardening, writing, or learning a new skill, these activities can bring joy and a sense of accomplishment. Creativity knows no age limit, and pursuing passions that may have been put on hold during the busy years of work and raising a family can be incredibly rewarding. It's about giving oneself permission to explore, to create, and to enjoy the process without the pressure of productivity or success. These hobbies provide a way to express oneself, to continue learning, and to experience the simple pleasure of doing something just for the love of it. The importance of mindfulness and being present in the moment also cannot be overstated when it comes to finding purpose in old age. Life is filled with small moments of beauty, the warmth of the sun on your face, the sound of birds singing, the taste of a favorite meal. For many elderly individuals, slowing down and appreciating these moments can be a source of profound peace and fulfillment. It's about recognizing that purpose doesn't always have to come from grand gestures or significant achievements. Sometimes, it's found in the quiet appreciation of the world around us. Spirituality and reflection are also essential components of finding purpose in old age. Many elderly individuals find comfort and meaning in their spiritual beliefs, whether through religion, meditation, or a connection to nature. Reflecting on the journey of life, on the lessons learned, and on the legacy they wish to leave behind can bring a deep sense of satisfaction. It's an opportunity to come to terms with the past, to forgive oneself and others, and to find peace in the present moment. This reflection can be a powerful way to find closure and to embrace the final chapter of life with grace and acceptance. It's also important for the elderly to recognize that their wisdom is a valuable gift. The experiences they've had, the challenges they've faced, and the lessons they've learned are all things that can benefit others. Sharing stories, offering advice, and simply being there to listen are all ways that they can continue to make a difference in the lives of others. Their perspective, shaped by decades of living, is unique and irreplaceable. By sharing their wisdom, they create a legacy that lives on in the hearts and minds of those they touch. For families, supporting elderly loved ones and finding purpose is one of the greatest gifts they can offer. It's about encouraging them to pursue their interests, helping them stay connected to the community, and reminding them that they are still valued and needed. It's about listening to their stories, seeking their advice, and including them in family activities in meaningful ways. The love and support of family can make a significant difference in an elderly individual's ability to find joy and meaning in their later years. There is also value in embracing change and being open to new experiences. For many elderly individuals, the thought of trying something new can be intimidating, but it can also be incredibly rewarding. Whether it's traveling to a new place, learning a new technology, or meeting new people, these experiences can bring excitement and a renewed sense of purpose. It's about stepping outside of one's comfort zone and recognizing that life still has much to offer, even in the later years. Ultimately, finding meaning and purpose in old age is about recognizing that life is still worth living, that there is still so much to be experienced, given, and shared. It's about letting go of the idea that one's value is tied to productivity or specific roles and instead embracing the beauty of simply being. It's about appreciating the journey that has been taken and finding joy in the present moment. The elderly are not defined by their limitations, but by their resilience, their love, and the countless ways in which they continue to touch the lives of others. As we wrap up today's discussion, I hope that these reflections on finding meaning and purpose in old age resonate with you. Whether you're caring for an elderly loved one or thinking about your own future, remember that purpose is not something that fades with age. It evolves, it grows, and it takes on new forms. There is beauty and value in every stage of life, and the later years can be some of the most meaningful of all. Thank you for joining us in exploring these important topics. If you found this video meaningful, please take a moment to like, comment, and share it with others who might benefit from these insights. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our upcoming discussions on aging and the valuable lessons we can learn from those who have lived long and full lives. Your support means the world to us, and it helps us continue to bring these conversations to light. Let's continue to honor the wisdom of the elderly and ensure that their voices are heard.